It's the name of perhaps the most powerful piece of spyware ever developed, certainly by a private company. Once it has wormed its way onto your phone, without you noticing, it can turn into a 24-hour surveillance device. It can copy messages you send or receive, harvest your photos, and record your calls. It might secretly film you through your phone's camera or activate the microphone to record your conversations. It can potentially pinpoint where you are, where you've been, and who you've met. Pegasus is military-grade legal surveillance software that is developed, marketed, and licensed to governments around the world by the Israeli company NSO Group. And it has the capability to infect billions of phones running either iOS or Android operating systems. Today, we'll be covering Pegasus, spyware tech that threatens democracy. Make sure you subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on future videos. Developed by former Israeli intelligence operatives, Pegasus gained a reputation as the world's most powerful cyber weapon for its ability to infiltrate a target's smartphone without requiring the user to click a link to activate the malware. Once installed, Pegasus can harvest more or less any information or extract any file. SMS messages, address books, call history, calendars, emails, and internet browsing histories can all be collected undetected. Worse, the software exploits undiscovered vulnerabilities, meaning even the most security-conscious mobile phone user cannot prevent an attack. Since 2011, NSO has licensed Pegasus to foreign law enforcement and intelligence agencies as a means to combat terrorism, drug trafficking, and other major crimes. For instance, the Mexican government reportedly used Pegasus to help capture the infamous drug lord Joaquin El Chapo Guzman. But leaked reports show that some clients have used Pegasus unlawfully to spy on individuals not suspected of committing any crimes. Now valued at over $1 billion, NSO Group is perhaps the most successful, controversial, and influential firm in a generation of Israeli startups that have made the country the center of the spyware industry. And the spyware they export has been used in at least 45 countries to infect the phones of politicians, human rights activists, and journalists worldwide. The big dirty secret is that governments are buying this stuff, not just authoritarian governments, but all types of governments. NSO has been implicated by various reports and lawsuits in many hacks, including a reported hack of Amazon founder Jeff Bezos in 2018. And in 2021, a leaked list of 50,000 phone numbers were reportedly entered into a Pegasus database, the majority of those numbers being concentrated in 10 countries: Azerbaijan, Bahrain, Hungary, India, Kazakhstan, Mexico, Morocco, Rwanda, Saudi Arabia, and the United Arab Emirates, all of which have been NSO clients at some point and have histories of spying on their citizens. Hundreds of these phone numbers were linked to politicians, government officials, business executives, journalists, and activists, including 10 prime ministers, 3 presidents, and even a king. More recently, the use of Pegasus spyware was found to have infected phones of at least 51 people, targeting Catalan independence leaders and Spanish politicians, including the Prime Minister, plunging Spain into a crisis of democracy. There is no doubt that Pegasus is being used to collect information on key individuals in both business and government to influence policy. In India, 5 journalists and 1 advisor to the opposition party critical of Prime Minister Narendra Modi were found with infected phones. And even in Israel, the police have been using Pegasus to spy on dozens of its own citizens, including senior government officials and protesters rallying up against former Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. It's alleged the Israel government is proactively using the spyware as a diplomatic bargaining chip in pursuit of various foreign policy objectives, offering Pegasus and similar cyber tools to countries as an incentive for stronger ties or concessions. For example, nearly every country that signed the 2020 Abraham Accords to normalize ties with Israel received Pegasus. Commercial spyware has grown into an industry estimated to be worth $12 billion, but is largely unregulated and increasingly controversial. Pegasus is the latest example of how vulnerable we are to digital prying. Our phones store our most personal information, including photos, text messages, and emails. This cyber weapon can reveal directly what's going on in our lives, bypassing the encryption that protects data sent over the internet, and there is no known defense against it. It is so dangerous that the U.S. has blacklisted the NSO group for selling its Pegasus software to governments that use it to abuse human rights and political freedoms. It is one of the most technically sophisticated cyber weapons ever seen, only previously accessible to a handful of nations, but is now for sale to those that can afford it, easily reaching into the millions of dollars for a full deployment. And if a governmental agency or country can afford to spend millions, potentially tens of millions, or even hundreds of millions of dollars on their offensive programs, it is very unlikely that a target will be able to avoid getting infected. To put this in simpler words, if you are targeted by such an actor, it's not a question of whether you can get affected, it's actually a matter of time and resources before you get infected. In 2013, Edward Snowden, the man who leaked highly classified information from the National Security Agency, argued that tools will soon be developed to easily spy on millions of people. When we're talking about something like an iPhone, they're all running the same software around the world, so if they find a way to hack one iPhone, they've found a way to hack all of them. Private companies developing state-sponsored spyware have become more dangerous than ever before. You have this extraordinarily powerful surveillance technology and a market that's supplying it that's almost entirely unregulated, being used by governments that are unaccountable. Cyber surveillance regulation is a mostly lawless frontier, and even in strong democracies, it's very, very difficult to be able to cope with the temptation to abuse or to misuse powerful cyber weapons like Pegasus. Some countries, including Germany and the United Kingdom, have laws dictating the circumstances in which agencies can covertly extract data from devices, but Israel and many others don't. Assuming you're not a journalist working on sensitive stories, a world leader, or in some position that could threaten government powers, the odds are that someone hasn't spent millions of dollars to target you with Pegasus. That said, it's obviously concerning that these types of attacks are possible, and that they could potentially fall into the hands of hackers looking to target a much broader range of people.